Good afternoon.
My name is Carla Corral, and I want to welcome you to my presentation. Have you ever looked at your electrical bill and thought, wow, that's a lot? And when you're having this reaction, you feel so hot that you feel like turning it on the air conditioner to relax a little. But what you don't know is that your neighbor is having the same reaction, and he is also turning on the air conditioner. And also your relatives and your cousin. Can you remember a time when you felt like that?
Oh, yes.
You're not the only one. Most of us tend to focus in the financial loss of an electrical bill. We're just looking at this in a superficial manner. The constant use of non-renewable energy is not only damaging our pockets, but it's also harming the environment. The U.S. Energy Information Administration reported that just in 2013, the average annual electricity consumption for a U.S. resident utility customer was 10,009 kilowatts, an average of 909 kilowatts per month. As you may see, we entirely depend on fossil fuels: natural gas, coal, oil, hydro, nuclear, and just barely renewable 1.03. Take Turner quoted, "Even if we didn't have greenhouse gases, we were going to run out. They're finite, as for solar and wind that are infinite." As Turner said, we're gonna stop using non-renewable energy because it's gonna run out, and it's also damaging the environment. And we will need to use other energy resources. In this case, solar energy is the one that I'm proposing to you. I recently took a class in population, environment, and energy, and that led me into researching and understanding more of these topics. And today I would like to share the information that I have learned through this class. So let's start by looking at the disadvantage of using fossil fuels. Fossil fuels have been used in many decades by many people. The Energy Information Organization uses the term fossil fuels to classify coal, petroleum, and natural gas, and there's others. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, 80.4% of the primary energy consumption of the world is covered by these fossil fuels, like you saw in the graph. This will be 28% is covered by crude oil, and 40% is used by crude oil or petroleum, and natural gas is 20%. While burning any of these fossil fuels, they produce carbon dioxide, and this contributes to the greenhouse effect, and that's warming the earth. Plus, burning coal, in specific, creates a sulfur dioxide that is the thing that creates acid rain. It's necessary to take into account that fossil fuels damage the environment and are non-renewable and unsustainable. There are no green sources of energy. As mentioned before, they have higher amounts of carbon dioxide and are the main contributors to the global warming. Also, it's worth mentioning that they are not safe to use. Some incidents have happened when these kinds of fossil fuels get destroyed and have killed people and also hurt the environment. An example of this will be the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. This occurred in 2010 and is usually referred as one of the main U.S. history damages of fossil fuels. What occurred in this situation is an explosion and sinking of the Deepwater Horizon oil ship, and it killed 11 people. Removing the oil is really difficult, and because the oil is hydrophobic, it doesn't mix with water. Years have passed and the oil is still in the Gulf, affecting the marine life and the people living in the area. Another disaster that occurs is that when coal mines explode or there have incidents. In this case, between 880 to 910, there have been numerous amounts of explosions and accidents in mines, and these have killed many thousands of people. In 1907, 1907 is counted as one of the U.S. most deadliest years for mining, and 302,042 deaths occurred in that year. Overall, fossil fuels are not renewable energy sources. Currently, there's a finite amount of these sources, and once they're gone, we have to wait about 8 million years for them to be created again. And our consumption of these sources has doubled every 20 years since the 1900s. They are products of natural processes, such as anaerobic decomposition and organic matter. Yet, like I mentioned before, it takes millions of years for them to reproduce. And as the way we're using them right now, we're not allowing them to reproduce again. Now that we have seen the negative effects of non-renewable energy, what can we do to avoid these damages to our pocket and the environment, at the same time that we save money? That's easy. Solar power technology has many advantages because it is a renewable and abundant source. It's one of the most renewable sources that humans have. So will continue to be burning for another 4 to 5 billion years. And if we were to able to collect 0.1% of the sun's energy, we could supply all of the Earth's energy. Solar energy is showing up 20% efficiency commercially and 40% efficiency for lab research. The future of this technology may be more efficient and will eventually surpass the ones that we have right now. There is also the process of net metering that occurs in industrial nations. This occurs when many owners may sell their excess solar energy to local power plants, and what they sell is subtracted from their monthly utility bill. On average, solar technologies may produce energy for another 20 to 30 years, as long as the technology is good. After you decide to use solar energy, you will notice that this technology is quiet, safe, and contains numerous parts, but that don't need little maintenance. It doesn't contain moving parts and needs little maintenance. They also don't require extra land because you can position them over buildings. They also are becoming less expensive and will pay themselves in 10 to 20 years and by producing free energy. Overall, solar energy does not pollute with greenhouses, emission, or other pollutants. It just needs a little fossil fuels during term manufacturing and maintenance, but once it's there, you don't have to use any fossil fuels to maintain it. I encourage you to contact this local company that specializes in the installation of solar panels and to ask for further information. That's the number, and I will pass you this flyer, so you can contact them, and then they can tell you more information about this. Taking this decision will not only benefit your economy, but it will also help the environment. And I will leave you with a famous quote by Dr. Seuss. Unless someone like you cares awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Well, that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time.